All right, well, last Friday we reported that Park Hill School in Kansas City, Missouri will be hiring a race expert. And this comes in response to a number of anti-black incidents in that school district, as well as others across the city. First, there was the high school teacher who used the N-word during class and who is currently now under investigation. Then there was a report of a worksheet given out to students in English class with racial slurs on it. You see it right there. And as if that wasn't enough, a white student in Kansas City wrote the following on a sign to ask a schoolmate out for homecoming. And I quote, "If I was black, I would be picking cotton. But I'm white, so I'm picking you for HOCO." And finally, there was the infamous petition organized by a group of students asking to reinstate slavery at Park Hill South High School in Kansas City. So joining me now to discuss all of this is Dr. Chris Emdin. He is the author of the newly published book, Ratchetdemics, Reimagining Academic Success, and the director of Science Education Program at Columbia University. Thank you so much for joining us.
Pleasure to be here with you.
So, Doctor, we're in the year 2021. Young people are supposed to be so much more progressive, and I just don't know what the heck is going on. Help me understand what's happening here.
Well, we could talk about this writ large, or we could talk specifically about Kansas City, which is a symptom of a larger systemic issue. On a writ large conversation level, the issue is simply that young folks are not at all having had any conversation about race, about diversity, about inclusion. None of those things are part of what they're learning in schools. But yet, they're being informed about how they should form perspectives about those issues in the world. Riddled across the media right now is the banning of CRT, this conflating of CRT with the absence of any critical conversation of having any conversation about black folks or their experiences. And so, we're not talking to young folks in schools about race, class, and diversity and slavery and racism. And we're having a conversation on the political spectrum about why it should be demonized and not should be taught. And so the larger political conversation is giving a signal to young people that society at large is in the midst of not knowing what to do when it comes to race and class. And because of that, they're manifesting the ignorance that's being perpetrated on a political spectrum. That's what's going on generally. I think in Kansas City, they had a particular issue around the banning of CRT. They in particular had to have these long, drawn-out meetings and these back and forths and engagements. So these white young folks are literally watching the grown-ups on politically and also in their homes demonizing black folks and saying anything related to blackness is problematic. When we say a banning of CRT, them white young folks in schools know they ain't learning about CRT. So they understand what the coded language means. They understand that when you say we are banning CRT, it means that we're banning expressions of blackness, we're banning the value of blackness, we're banning the recognition that black folks have any humanity. So, for Park Hill to say now that we don't understand where this is coming from, why are these young folks acting in those ways? They're showing you what you've shown them. And then you're saying, now I want to hire a diversity expert, or I want to have a conversation with the NAACP about how we can move beyond this. We can't move beyond this until you move beyond this. And so I want people to understand that issues in education that manifest themselves are oftentimes reflections of what's going on in society at large. We cannot treat this like it's an isolated incident of just some young folks who are, crazy in a newly progressive world. We don't exist in a progressive world. We've been aware of that by what's going on in the political landscape, and we're simply seeing symptoms of our racism play out with the next generation.
So it sounds like that you're saying this is a problem they've had in the Kansas City area, not a few bad apples stirring up the pot, that they've just culturally existed this way.
I've worked with Kansas City educators. I am in Kansas City once a year engaging with black teachers in Kansas City who themselves describe to me the racist sort of structures that they are going through, like thinking about quitting teaching because they can't deal with the stressors and the tension from the parents and from the community members. There's an organization called the Block KC that's looking to sort of like get black educators together as a support group. What do you think those educators want to have a support group for? They want a support group for just navigating the racism that they're experiencing. So if the educators are going through this tension, and the educators are themselves going through racial distress over the fact that they're not seen as full humans, you better believe it's going on with young folks. So this is, again, not an isolated incident. Kansas City is just a microcosm of America at large. And what they're seeing specifically is them attempting to erase any conversations about race in the larger spectrum playing out with young folks who are hearing those dialogues from their adults, from their politicians, from their news. So don't be surprised when the chickens come home to roost. You constructed the phenomena, and now you're just witnessing it play out in real time.
Okay, so let's talk about the nation since you brought it up then. You know, we've been seeing issues across the country with, blackface parties for Halloween jumping off in some places. Do you think that this sort of anti-blackness is starting to spread around the country? Because we also saw a lot of our white counterparts at the Black Lives Matter movements and marching with us and standing up for justice and equality.
Yeah, I don't think anti-blackness is spreading. I think that anti-blackness is revealing itself. If we just look at this segment that we've had so far, we talked about the issues with the firefighters. We talked about the issues that are going on in schools. We talk about the issues as it relates to the COVID-19 vaccine. We talk about the issues related to the vandalizing of the George Floyd statue in New York City. What we're seeing is simply a visible expression of what has always lied beneath. And I think that we've had under the past administration an endorsement of, or a kind of like validation of, folks expressing their bias in ways that support a larger political agenda. And so the racism that has already existed is simply being manifested. And what we're seeing in the schools is seeing how this is not just a phenomenon that's existing for adults, but for young folks who are ingesting what the adults have constructed and are now playing it out. This is a large issue. We're not just talking about, this one thing that's a sort of post-Trump phenomenon. We're talking about during the Biden administration, that's supposed to be a response to the Trump administration, young folks right now who are exhibiting these racist practices because we've given them a cosign. We've said to them, it's okay if you say it out loud right now. And that's a bittersweet thing. Bitter in the sense that young folks have to witness this. Sweet in the sense that we've simply now able to reveal what we already have experienced. See, when young folks in Kansas City were saying this 3 years ago, the entire structure in the city was saying, no, it's not really happening. How dare you? There's no racism. Now, folks are showing you what we've been saying for a very long time. So it's bitter that it's out loud and our babies got to see it. It's sweet in the fact that it validates the fact that this has been a reality for black folks for a very long time in that city and across the nation.
Well, some people believe, like those in Park Hill, that the solution would be maybe to get someone in diversity and inclusion, equity type of officer or race coach to come into the school to help talk to people, to counsel people and tell them about the issues and what they're experiencing and how to get over it. Do you think that is part of the solution or the solution entirely, or is that just a Band-Aid?
Fam, how you coaching somebody on something and you're not coaching the folks who are the ones who are perpetuating the violence and the problematic issues? It defies logic. Now, this is not to say that we do not need DEI officers across the nation to be able to address these phenomena. I'm just saying they said at Park Hill, which ironically has a mascot that is the Panthers, but I'm sure them young folks ain't learned nothing about no Black Panthers ever. But you're hiring somebody to come and talk to the staff around racist practices that the young folks are exhibiting that they learned from their parents. How, Sway, is that supposed to address the issue? What we're seeing here is people who are enacting practices to pacify a Black population who's frustrated with the issue by saying that we're going to hire somebody to talk to us about it or to coach us through how we respond to it going forward, but not to address the issue. As long as you have curriculum in that school that does not value Blackness, as long as the state of Missouri is saying we don't want to talk about race, class, diversity at all. In fact, we want to ban CRT, even though we're not really teaching CRT, so folks are fearful about talking about race at all. If you don't address those larger issues, having somebody to get coached or coaching somebody who ain't the one who's perpetuating the violence to address the violence is simply a way to pacify an audience of Black folks who are frustrated with the infrastructure in that school district.
So what is the solution in your belief besides pacifying people?
Well, it's got to be a writ large, comprehensive approach. As an educator, I recognize the first step is in teaching and learning. At the end of the day, the magic bullet is in education. What are those young, I'm not throwing away those young, believe it or not, I'm not throwing away those young white folks who are racist. I'm not. I'm saying there are consequences to your action, and I also want to understand what got you to understand Black folks in this way, and how do I create a curriculum, a strategy, a set of classes, benchmarks in your school to ensure that you leave this place not holding on to that belief system. So for me, the first step is in the teaching, is in the curriculum. The next step is having conversations to the parents of those young folks. I don't believe in you saying, you enacted this violent thing. I'm gonna call the NAACP in, and now you suspended. All the suspension is gonna breed is frustration, because if you believe that what you shared was truth and you're suspended for your truth, you become emboldened in your truth, and you get folks who believe in that same thing to support you even further. So for me, it looks like critical conversation within those communities about what birthed the phenomena that led the students to enact these practices. So that's the next part. And then the last part for me is this: the black parents who said, I've had enough. I am frustrated. The ones who brought this issue to the fore, do not be pacified by a Band-Aid on your issue. You must ensure that at home you are teaching your child that the reason why they are hated in this way, the reason why they're demonized in this way, the reason why they're being reduced to just being the person who picks cotton by those peers is because they are feared. And the reason why they are feared is because they are brilliant, they're genius, and they're magic. No one is saying these things about you because you're less than. They're saying these things about you because they are fearful of the power and the magic that you hold in the depths of your being. And if they don't do that and teach them to teach that to those black babies in the school, then please ensure that you're teaching that to those black babies at home. Because it's only when they understand why they're being treated in this way, when they understand why they're being assaulted in this way. It's not because you're less than, it's because you are excellent. And if the parents of those black children did that at home, if the school addressed the curriculum and we had conversations with not just those young folks in those communities about how they've learned these things, we have a more comprehensive approach to dealing with this rather than coaching the school on the practices of the kids.
Wow. Dr. Chris, I'm glad you're out there promoting this message and getting it out there to as many schools and as many people as possible. Thank you so much for your time. I hope they're listening. All right, and now we need you guys. We need you to join the conversation. We want to hear from you. Head over to our BNC Instagram and Twitter pages and let us know how you feel. And also visit our website, bnc.tv, and subscribe to our YouTube page and check out clips from the show.